Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. So, thanks for joining us today. We began recording the conversation, but we're here at the Baptist Friendship House. Diane and I are very excited to be here. It's obviously here in a little bit different environment than what we're used to. We just had somebody else jump on the call. I'll bet that is, yep, that's Mark and Beth. I can tell. They get on there. But it's a little bit different environment than what we're used to down here in New Orleans. But so you guys know, if you didn't, some of you are on social media, some of you are not. I want to say, Diane, help me with the numbers here, but I want to say it was a little over, on the way here, we picked up, what, about 300, a little over 300 pairs of socks. I don't know, a couple hundred hand warmers and some gloves and things like that. And that was due to generosity of people along the way. And we'll be happy to send some more. That was just kind of a tag on it before we got here. We really want to stop here and to encourage the staff at the Baptist Friendship House. We've got a gift that we're going to leave for them on behalf of the church before we go. But anyways, let's go around for those that may watch the call later. I think most people on the call know these folks, but Beth and Mark haven't been here. Hopefully they can make the next trip. We'll start over here, and you guys are really going to have to speak up for them to hear you. Take your mask off if you want to hear them, or that's up to Dr. K, not me. But let's go around and introduce everybody.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Almost.
Almost? Okay. I'm Kaylee. What do you want me to do?
Tell them where you're from.
Okay.
And actually tell them where you're from and how you happened to end up here in New Orleans at the Baptist Friendship House.
Okay. So I'm from North Mississippi, about an hour and a half from Memphis. And I came to New Orleans my freshman year of college as a summer missionary. Came here and worked for a summer, and then came back again my junior year and worked for a summer. And then throughout my senior year, I just really started praying and asking God where He was leading me after graduation, and that was back to New Orleans. And so I contacted Kay, was like, hey, you think you could let me come and work here? And she was like, yes. So I've been here since 2015 and graduated seminary this time last year. So I finished in 2019, and yeah.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Why don't we jump before we go to Dr. K? Introduce yourself and same thing. Tell them how you ended up here at the Baptist Friendship House.
TJ's having a sneezing attack. I'm Kendall, and I grew up in southeastern North Carolina. I had attended a year of college and found out about summer mission opportunities through the North American Mission.
There are socks all over. So make sure, look, there's stuff up here.
So I attended a year of college, found out about summer missions and applied. And at that point, you would choose 3 places, and my first 2 places were not New Orleans. My third option was New Orleans. So I really didn't think I was coming here, but God had other plans. He had real big other plans. And so when I got to New Orleans and started serving here and learned what ministry looked like on the field and learned that this was something that I could do for the rest of my life, it was like all the bells went off, and I knew this was where I was supposed to be. So that was 10 years ago, going on 10 and a half, and I've been here ever since. So I finished my undergraduate degree here in New Orleans at UNO, and then I finished my master's degree in 2018 in counseling from the seminary, and now I'm a PhD student in counseling, still at the seminary.
She is just finished up her class for the semester, correct?
Yes. I was in class yesterday and today, but I'm finished for the semester. So
there you go. Nice job.
Celebration time.
Well, Kay, we're going to turn things to you, and we're going to take you back a year or two. Tell us how you ended up being here at the Baptist Friendship House and where you're from, but also then go into and tell us a little bit more about the ministry that you do here for the people who haven't been back have, looks like, maybe, is that Martin Schaefer down at the bottom? Martin's joined the call. He's not been here, but Cinda Bentley jumped on. She's been here.
Yep.
Then also, Taryn Newfar and the boys, it sounds like they're on here. And we're hoping that Brad and Taryn let me take the boys on my own down here on the trip in March. Well, I'm just joking. I wouldn't let me do that either. But anyways, they've got 2 young boys, but we've got a number of people on the call now. But Dr. K, tell them, how you got here and where you're from, and tell us about some of the ministries here at the house.
Will do. He knows I've been here a long time. So.
A year or two.
A year or two. I'm originally from Mississippi. Grew up in South Mississippi on a dairy farm, which is about 2 hours north of New Orleans. While getting my bachelor's degree at Southern Miss, I did an internship in a mental health center and was able to minister to people's physical and emotional needs, but not the spiritual need. And I grew up going to church pretty much every time the doors were open. So that made me feel very limited. I wasn't able to minister to the whole person. So I started talking to my pastor and some mentors, and they said, New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary has a master's degree program in Christian counseling. Well, I didn't know that. I thought that I just knew that preachers went to seminary. So they knew a professor at the seminary, and I came down here to meet with the professor. And I can't explain the peace that I had just being on the campus and hearing what the program was about. And so I felt God leading me this direction. So in 1987, I came to attend seminary. And I was at seminary there were terms back then. So 2 terms would be a semester. About a semester when someone introduced me to Brantley Baptist Center here. And it was the old rescue mission that had started in 1927 in our city. And they needed a person to work on the women's unit there. So I interviewed for that position. I got the position, started in 1988. And Brantley Center was a shelter for the homeless. We sheltered 250 people a night and had a substance abuse program for 36 folks that was in-house for 4 months. And it was everything I'd ever wanted to do. I was able to minister to the whole person there, the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. And I tell everybody I found a home with the homeless and was at Brantley Center till I graduated from seminary in 1989. And the missionary that was there was actually leaving. And so God opened the door for me to stay full-time as a missionary there. And then 10 years later, I moved to Baptist Friendship House to direct the ministry here. The ministry that was going on here was, it was through the state and not, at that time, Home Mission Board. I've been through the Home Mission Board, the North American Mission Board, and now Send Relief. The name changes a little bit. But at Brantley Center, we were totally through the Home Mission Board to send a proposal to them to do Friendship House like Brantley Center and to be able to house women and children over here, because every night we were downtown. We had a small area that we could house women with children, and we were having women and children line up on the streets. And it's Christmas time, so it always takes me back when I'm going to tear up with this, because I always used to wonder, there had to be some room in the hotel in the inn for Jesus to be born. But he's born in the manger. But I learned at Brantley Center, when you take all the people you can take, the fire marshal won't let you take any more. Yep. I don't know if they had fire marshals in Bethlehem, but our fire marshal would not let us place more people in the building. So they were lined up on the street, and I would have to step out there and say, we don't have any more beds. And so that's how we wrote the proposal to begin the transitional housing program here at Friendship House, so we can house more women and children, because at that time and still currently, the fastest growing population of homeless are women with children. And we can go into a lot of different reasons why that's so, but here at Friendship House, we still have the transitional housing program. We have a lot of ministries built around helping folks that are homeless, folks that are living in poverty, and human trafficking survivors. Like on Tuesdays, we have snack pack time. We call it homeless meals. for guys, and we've been having about 60, what y'all say, 60 folks come to get the homeless meals, to get clothing, to get socks, to get blankets. It's getting cold with the blankets, gloves, caps, those type items. We also are able to, in normal times, not during COVID, allow women to come in our building and take showers during that time. We'll hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to work back towards that. We also have emergency food for folks that live in our community and have a place to cook. It's canned goods. We had a serve day back in October in which Southern Baptists throughout the U.S. sent us food to go into backpacks, and we had local church members that came in, helped us pack those, and we did about 300 backpacks full of food supplies that folks can cook. We also, on Wednesdays, we started our group time back with ladies, and it's just a time they can come in and share anything that's going on in their lives. We'll have a theme that group is built around, but we just want to encourage them, give them a place to share their story and to pour out things so that we can fill them back up with healthy stuff and healing can take place. And on Thursdays is our community Bible study. And ladies come, we have 108 or so that's on our roll. And we were averaging before COVID somewhere between 30 and 40 each week. But we're building back up. I think we have 21 is the most we've had since we started our Bible study back. On Thursdays. But the other things are built around educational programs. We can take somebody where they are, basically, teach them to read and write if they're adults and can't. English as a second language, job readiness skills, life skills, just a little bit of everything to help people gain skills to become self-sufficient. And with the human trafficking ministry, I don't know how long you want me to take. I can stand here and talk all day.
Take all the time you want.
I'll sit here and talk all day, but the human trafficking ministry is kind of built around the fact that we partner with folks to help ladies like law enforcement, human trafficking hotline, to try to get them to safety. They can stay here. We want to get them here, first of all, and assess them, find out what's going on so that we can better meet their needs. And they can stay here. We can get them into a safe house somewhere else if they need to get out of our state. We can get them into long-term treatment if they need a program that's, say, 1 or 2 years long, or most of the time they want to go back home where they were trafficked from. We make sure that it's safe for them to go back home and there's somebody back home that's going to help to meet their needs also before we provide them transportation home. So that's kind of, We also partner with the University Medical Center with our backpacks and putting items in. Our forensic nurse there sees human trafficking survivors, rape crisis, sexual assault, domestic violence, and we're able to partner with her so that she has those items that will help meet a need and build trust.
Good. Well, I want to explain to the folks that are on the call, the folks that will listen later, that the way that you're connected to this, and there's several ways that I've been hearing just while we've been talking. Here's a way that you're connected that you probably didn't think of. Our church gives money to the cooperative program. And yes, that supports ministries like the Baptist Friendship House, but there's a connection that these three ladies have to the cooperative program that I don't know if the church realized. The church also, the cooperative program, in a huge part, supports our Southern Baptist seminaries. And it makes it more affordable. I won't say affordable, but more affordable in that for people that are connected through a Southern Baptist church, the costs are substantially reduced to the point it's almost like a reward for being involved with that. But that's part of where the money that we set aside each month that we send to the cooperative program, that goes to that. We also have other money we set aside just for the Baptist Friendship House that we send in each month. But then we have great folks like Todd Bentley. Again, I'll say this, I bet I'm the only pastor in the Southern Baptist Convention or any church that gets an email and says, hey, you know what, we probably ought to spend some more money in missions, over the next few months. And I love that. And it's really because of the way that our church is set up that we're able to do this. So that's why we're able to say, okay, Kendall and Kaylee and Dr. K create an Amazon wish list, and we go in and buy $300 or $400 worth of stuff off the wish list and have it sent here. That's why along the way that our church is connected and able to Let's stop and clean out some Dollar Trees of hand warmers and gloves and socks along the way. You folks are directly connected to the ministry that they're doing here. And it's not some byproduct or a limited connection, it's a direct connection. The other way that we're connected is through prayer. And you're going to see that in 2021, Diane and I have been talking about additional prayer ministries within our church, within our congregation to support people. But the overwhelming response to prayer meetings and availability to say, hey, pray for me has been overwhelming to Diane and I since we've been on the road. And the number of requests, prayer requests we've gotten. But the reason why I say that is we're going to be spending some more time in 2021 teaching the church on how you can pray for people individually that are in ministries like this. And that's encouraging when they know that. But I'm going to toss it back to these ladies for just a minute, because in December for Go Week, we're going to be having another card encouragement campaign. Now, I don't know if this is, it just is what it is. You can send cards to these guys anytime, by the way. You should be doing it. But our encouragement campaign we're going to be doing 5 different missionaries that we've done before. But will you guys kind of chime in and tell us, what was it like to get some of those cards and some of that encouragement that you guys got from the church?
Amazing. Yeah. I was blown away.
Shocking.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just the encouragement, even if you're having a hard day and you see that juicer, you see it sitting there on my desk, how uplifting, encouraging it is just to know that somebody's praying for you and you have that connection, and it helps you not feel alone.
It wasn't one of these missionaries, but another missionary that we encouraged. I really think they were at the point of getting so discouraged they were rethinking what they were going to do. But your encouragement that you sent put them right back on track of what they need to do. It can be discouraging. Sometimes you just go weeks and months and you feel like, what am I doing? Is there any reward whatsoever? So I wanted to explain to the church that we're going to be doing that again and what it means to folks that are in the field. Well, I don't want to keep people too long because we're going to go eat some New Orleans lunch and we don't want to be kept from that. But Diane, tell us about how you ended up here at the Baptist Friendship House. No, I'm just kidding. Diane doesn't like to talk on these things at all. Although Diane got all choked up and worked up this morning. We were on a Zoom call with Josh Saylor and his fiance, and we got to hear her story. Oh my goodness, man, it just moved you to tears, but that's a whole nother story for another day. Yeah, keep them in prayer. So I want to open it up. We can hear you guys great. What kind of questions do you have or anything to say to the folks here at the Baptist Friendship House? Nothing?
No.
All right.
Okay, I'll ask a question.
There you go. Sylvia, I knew I could count on you.
I had to think a while. I know that the pandemic has affected how much how you're able to do things. So are you still housing women there, or have you had to stop that for now?
Yeah. We, whenever the pandemic started, New Orleans had a really high initial spike early on in COVID, primarily a result of Mardi Gras. And so our city immediately, like our city responded so well and has continued to respond well. So they actually worked hard and got pretty much nearly all of the homeless in the city into our hotels. So no one was coming here for travel, for vacation, and the city was able to secure rooms for homeless there. And then they started sending caseworkers in to connect the homeless with housing, rather than them being in the hotel and then going back on the street. So we actually saw a decrease in need for housing in that immediate aftermath of the pandemic. We didn't have anybody in our housing when it started because we were working on securing the front of our building. And we made the decision that because the city was responding so well and had a ton of resources to respond, that with only the three of us here, the amount of cleaning and sanitation and ability to keep people housed here safe and healthy would be incredibly difficult. And so we just kind of shifted where our focus was to some other areas and let the city kind of take care of the housing.
Great question.
That's great that your city responded like that. I wish everyone did.
Yeah, it was incredible to see, and
They're still doing it.
yeah, they're still doing it, and they actually made things a lot easier for people to access resources. So we did partner with the city. We took things. So did we take a supply to the hotels and stuff? So we partnered with like. So we had hurricanes all this year too. And so we actually ended up being an evacuation site for people from Lake Charles. So we had an influx into our city then, but of course it was all in hotels. So like we took supplies, hygiene items, clothes, different things like that to the evacuees who were in the city with nothing, toys for kids. And then we also went out to places where we knew some of the homeless that we have worked with over the years were gathering, because some are just absolutely not going to go inside. And so we went out to them instead of having them to come to us. And then also the city set up some localized feeding site where different organizations would set up there and feed. So instead of, a person who's on the street having to go to this part of the city for breakfast, another part of the city for lunch, another part of the city for dinner, they were able to all go to this one location for those meals.
And Sender Relief sent us 1,000 care packs for our healthcare providers that we were able to take to our hospital and clinics to say thank you to them for being on the front lines and helping.
And now when they talk about Send Relief, again, I like to make the connection from where you are to the Baptist Friendship House and then via what we call Send Relief. Send Relief is solely supported by the cooperative program, which again, a portion of that offering from our church goes to support that. That's along with 47,000 other churches that support that. But that Send Relief program, they're able to get some of those supplies here to do some of those things. So I like to continue to make those connections because I'm not ashamed. It's tough for a pastor to talk about giving, but it takes money. It just does. And so we can either push that aside, but what I'm proudly to say as a church and the direction our church has gone is that, yes, give, because it's going to support more and more and more things like this, whether, it's Send Relief and bringing it to the Baptist Friendship House, or if it's Send Relief, it's some disaster relief that it's some work that they do as well. So, let's keep on doing that. Other questions that you might have, comments, anything? All right. Well, go ahead.
We have
Oh, you
Hey,
guys.
I joined late, but it's good to see you, ladies.
Oh, well, they have a surprise.
Y'all have been so good to us and support our ministry in such a great way. And this is not a lot, but we just wanted to give you all a certificate of appreciation to let you know how thankful and grateful we are
Well,
to you all.
Thank you very much. Where'd you have that hit then? You had that. That's
Awesome.
so much, man. We really appreciate that. That's these are the things, so we don't do it for these things, but this is nice. This is really nice. We'll hang this up in our church office, which is in the basement of my house, but we'll hang that up in the church office. That's amazing. That's just so we're so thankful for that. So let me I'm gonna toss this back onto the church and they can write some of these things down. And we're just gonna go around the horn here. We'll start with Kaylee. We pray for the ministry, we pray for the things here, but how can the church be praying for you personally?
Me personally. I think one of the things for me personally would be if you wouldn't mind praying for my dad. He is not doing great with his back. He had back surgery 3 weeks ago now, but still not doing as well as he would like. So that's one thing for me personally. He is a nursing administrator, and he's had a lot to deal with this year, and so it's been difficult for him just in general, not being able to go to work and still, in the midst of pandemic in a hospital. So that's probably one of my biggest ones right now, me personally.
Absolutely. So, what's your father's first name?
Randy.
Randy. Okay. So, Kendall, what about you? How can we be praying for you personally?
Yeah. So, the last couple of weeks, well, really, it feels like 2020 has been challenging. But the last couple of weeks have been really difficult. I found out that my aunt, who I'm pretty close to, her cancer is now terminal. And so I was able to go home and spend some time with her, and we'll get to over the holidays. But just kind of being able to savor and find joy in these moments that we do have. And then I'm also going to be having an outpatient surgery next week. So I haven't had any kind of surgery in I think I was 7 the last time I was kind of knocked out. So just for, that to go well and a smooth, easy, I would prefer an easy recovery.
We will. We'll be praying for you. Now, Dr. K, I think I know what yours is, but go ahead and share how can we be praying for you personally?
It's going to sound a lot like healthcare here on all of our parts, but I'm torn being here sometimes and I was at home, I ran up Thursday to take care of some stuff with my mom and back, and I'm blessed to be really close to home, but she's getting older and wanting to spend more time with her, and my brother has leukemia, and we have a dairy farm, and he was just, while I was up there, he was expressing to me how difficult it is for him to continue things on. And so I'm torn between here and there.
But you're going there, and you've got to quarantine a bit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I've got a little house in the corner of my mom's yard. What I've been doing is going up and doing things, staying there, and just sitting on the carport and talking with her, but I can't be around them.
So it's difficult for them to be together, but she's hoping to spend some time here over Christmas.
Yes.
With your mother. So we'll be praying for that journey as you take it, and during that quarantine as well. Well, Diane, how can we be praying for you?
I'm ready.
While you ride with your husband?
Yeah. No, I'm proud of my husband. He did a good job. I know y'all,
Please.
I'm so proud of him for graduating, and he's done a good job. But this has been a great trip, getting to know our missionaries, and I hope that you've been able to get a glimpse from the videos into the lives of our missionaries and how the Lord uses them in such great ways. So it's been a blessing for me. But that I just take away from that, that the Lord can use us in that same way. You're a missionary where you are, if you're being used. So I'm just praying that our church really understands God's call on their lives and on our lives as well.
We appreciate the church so much, allowing us to be on a journey like this. I don't know how much choice you had. We just kind of told you we were doing it. But anyways, you've been so supportive of it. And we've got several more stops to go. We're very, very excited about it, but we're mostly excited to be here today. And with a mission that means so much to us. I have talked with them. We have a date coming up in March that our church will be coming down here. It's Lebanon's spring break, if you want to look it up. I don't know I sent out the dates of when that would be, but we'll be down here at that time, barring if everything isn't completely shut down, and I don't think it will be. There's work to be done, and we want to come down and support these folks, and you're going to be hearing a lot about that and how we can be involved with that. So let's have a word of prayer, and we'll end our call. We'll hang on here for a minute or two if you guys got other comments or questions or anything like that, but we'll end the recording piece of it. And we'll leave this up for a minute or two. You guys might see us eating lunch here in a little bit, but we'll leave it up for a minute or two. Let's have a word of prayer, and then we'll end the call. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity to be here in New Orleans, specifically at the Baptist Friendship House. We ask you to put a hedge of protection around this place and to put a hedge of protection around these people. The folks that serve here, watch over them. For each of the prayer requests that have been mentioned, and yes, it does have a lot to do with healthcare, but Lord, you are our caretaker. And so heal those that need to be healed. Bless those that are anxious about things that may be coming up. And, you know, even with Kaylee's father, just be with him and that God, you will continue to heal him. Bless our church and this journey that we're on. God, without the vision and without the support of the people on this call and many, many, many more, things like this would not be possible. We thank you so much for what you're doing and what you'll continue to do through us. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, well, thanks for being on the call. I'll end the recording piece of it, but if you guys got anything else, just let us know.
Hey, Elmer, you'll have to tell Michelle and the boys that PJ says hello.